Bonjour, ça va? Very excited to be here at Asia Now, the first day. I'm Vivienne Chow. I'm the London correspondent for ArtNet's news team. Another reason to be very excited, another reason for being very excited is that we have just launched the Asia Pivot, our new Asia-focused newsletter. And then I thought, okay, where could it be, a better platform than being at Asia Now? Because this is such a special, fair and a special platform for art and players from the art world, from Asia, with an Asia focus, but here in Paris. And now today we're here to talk about things that are happening in Asia and also Asia in the rest of the world. So this is a perfect occasion. So joining me today on this panel discussion, New Frontiers and Fresh Challenges, the future of art market in Asia and the Asian diaspora. We have Gladys, an art consultant based between Taipei and New York, and JaeMyung, a collector, young collector from Seoul. These are very good friends of mine, and I know them. I think I know them pretty well, so I really appreciate it that they agreed to join us today here. So first of all, let's introduce you to our audience, like what you do, you know who you are, and so we first start with Gladys. So you're an art advisor, and you're based between Taipei and New York, so between the East and West. So maybe tell us first about how you started doing advising people on art.
Hi, my name's Gladys. It's an honor to be here to share and also exchange the thoughts with all of you. I know it's a very long day, it's our week. And then, so I'm based in Taiwan. I'm Taiwanese. I'm based in Taiwan. But normally, right now, I think from 3 years ago, I started my small business in New York. So actually, right now, I'm based between Taiwan and also New York. So when I started my art career, I think that was in year 2006. Yeah, it's a long time ago. Maybe you can guess. Maybe I'm not very young now. And then I think that is my first job, because I'm not either from the art history major or from the collector family. So doing arts is something, my dream, but how to get into it. So the thing, my first job I got, I'm very lucky. There's a very important gallery lady. She hires me as the administration director of the auction house. So actually my first job is in the auction house, because that is very easy for the outsider to know what's going on. And during 2006 is quite blooming art contemporary market there. So I got a chance to learn. So for the rest of my art career, I'm mostly with the gallery from Taiwan, mainland China, India, and then to Sean Kelly, New York. And then I started my art business, my own art business as a consultant since year 2016. So yeah, that's a long term.
That's quite a rich history and a very interesting trajectory that how you move around in the art world. And I heard that being an art advisor or an art consultant is still something very new in Asia, and I've heard that people still don't quite understand what an art consultant does. Is that true?
True. Actually, even I start my art consultant since year 2016 is very new. And so most of my clients, they are from corporate. So I help them to do the public arts. Because a long time ago, before I joined arts, I working in nearly 10 years in a very international big corporate. yeah, in Taiwan and also Japan. So I know there's something like a desire, they want to do some public art or something. So that is what I start. I'm doing lots of the corporate things, yeah, to help them, yeah, when I started. And then even now, in 2023, the art consulting the art consultant is quite new, yeah, in Asia, because most of people, they'll think it's not challenging to buy art. I buy what I like. Why I need to pay for the consultant? And even I remember there's a one time, because I come from the gallery, so I have so many clients from the gallery field. And then when I start my art consultant, normally in New York, you charge them. If you show them around to the art fair, yeah, they need to give you a fee or something. But in Asia, they say, oh, I'm your client, a long time ago. Even they just buy one piece from you 5 years ago. They'll be your client forever. They say, okay, so that's the art fair, Basel, and then can you walk me around? Something like 3 hours or 4 hours, each booth for free. And then can you tell me, can you do the negotiations for me? Because that's kind of a lovely Asian thing, because we think, okay, we're doing long-term relationship, and then we build it up, and then we end up with, maybe we come up with something like you will help me to get something, okay, for free. And then, yeah, that's the thing. But right now, I think this is very different from New York. Yeah, this is very different from New York. But it's also the very cute part of the Asian market. So I think there are lots of potential because we have lots of newcomers. They're buying art, whatever they like. But in end of that, they will really know, they will really rely on what we are going to tell them, what is the insight. Because I think this is a kind of process. Yeah, I think it's kind of process. So in the end, I think they will value what the art consultant could do for them.
I'm sure they do, and I think not. I'm sure they will do like in the long run, and I'm sure they should value the expertise, the insights, and also information that they might not be able to get elsewhere. And I guess art consultant, it's still at a very early stage in Asia, but it sounds like it's a promising profession, like in the long run. So just one more question very quickly. So since you started and compared to now, so have you observed the changes of the way Asian collectors approach art collecting? And if so, what are the biggest changes, like biggest differences compared to like people in the past?
Okay, so since I started my art consulting business, I think that I'm working with most of the elder art collector. Yeah, so right now I'm working between something like a 2 generation. The elder one from the gallery, what I did before, and then right now most of them, they trust me. So right now they introduce me to their kids. Okay, so it's a very interesting thing because 2 generations, they see different 2 things. So sometimes I'm the one in the middle and need to do something like a translator for them. And then, yeah, and for the elder one, I think for the elder one, because long time ago, we don't have so many art fair, just like we have it now. And also the information that they need to get is through the reading. They are not so many, they don't have ArtNets, so many information during that time. So they need to dig the knowledge and also the information in a not very convenient way. Okay, so the thing is that whenever they talk to me, it's something like a concept. What do you think about this artist? The concept is unique or something. So that is a conversation that we did in the past. But for the younger generation, they are very different because they have so many feeds. Instagram, art fairs everywhere, and also friends, and also there are lots of pop-up shop, for something like a trendy thing. So they will come up with something like, oh, what do you think? Do you think it's cool or something? It's a very different things. Yeah, but the thing is, I just trying to give them advice because actually, if you certain kind of buying art in certain kind of price range, so just like buying the bag, okay, you can buy whatever you want. But the thing is that if you really want to buy a piece of good art that you want to see for at least 5 years, 10 years, or 11, 20 years, because right now shipping is very expensive. no matter you ship whatever. Okay, you ship Picasso is this kind of, but you ship something like a very trendy pop word. It's also very expensive. So that is they need to value my professional to do that. So actually, two generation, I'm very honored to be in the between. So to do how to transform their information. So I'm very lucky. Yeah.
That's a very important role, like saying in between the generation, that you're actually translating culture. So it's not just about it's not just about art collecting. You're bridging the gap between.
I'm bridging the gap, and also sometimes they will fight, you know, and then also the parents say, I don't know why they buy those kind of trash. Can you tell me why? And then also the kids, I say, oh, I don't want their collection. Can you sell that? I don't want that. But I say, you know, that's a part of our consultant things happening in Asia. That is my job most of the time.
Wow, and speaking of the young generation, so Jae, I guess what Gladys has pointed out about how young collectors, how they receive information, and how they treat information like differently. Is it like very much like the way how you start your art how you start collecting art, how you assemble your collection, and when you look at art, is that how you got like information like from like everywhere, and so you do your own sourcing and also your own curating of the information?
I think that's totally true. I definitely agree with both of you. And I started collecting since my high school year, back in the days. And at that time, having information online was not that much as now. But nowadays, I see so many information online. Everything's online, Instagram, Facebook, and even if you Google something, then everything pops up. And that definitely changed the whole way of collecting art. And for older generation, it's not easy for them to Google or search online and do some research on their own. And I personally spend a lot of time doing research and reading things and about art. I spend even more time than I shouldn't say this, but I spend even more time than doing my job. And yeah, so it's like, I'm not just me, but I see a lot of collectors. We're getting addicted to collecting art, and I'm not saying that it's bad thing, but it's a good addiction, I guess. And yeah, I get a lot of information through my friends, go to art fairs. I traveled, especially this year after COVID, I traveled pretty much every month. And I meet people and I get information, I talk to people, and I see art, of course. And not just the fair itself, but I go to see a lot of museum exhibitions and gallery exhibitions from the local, and that definitely impact on my thing when I collect art.
Yeah, I think you're a very hard-working collector, and yeah, I can assure people that Jae is everywhere. And tell us a bit about the art in your collection. What is your vision? What kind of art collection that you want to assemble? And I know recently during Free Soul, you welcomed a ton of people to your private collection. So how do they go? I mean, when these people, when they see a collection assembled by a young Asian collector, do they what comments do they make? Do they feel, oh wow, this is like the future?
So I collect a lot of young artists. I try not to set any limit on ages or their nationality, but I figured that I have a lot from young artists that living the same era. It's because I feel more connected to them and I feel more common with them, and I feel like I share a lot of things with. Of course, we're all from different culture and country, but still, I feel more common and connected to them. And So during Freeze Seoul, definitely Freeze brought a lot of attention to the city, and thanks to that, I hosted so many people and so many groups from museums, collectors, gallerists, curators, and directors from all different countries, all different cities. It was not easy, but I had so much fun hosting them. And I treat them as my friend, and they treat me as their friend. And I think it's not just about buying art and selling art. It's more about building a relationship with galleries and also with people from museums and curators. I value that quite high, so that's very important. And yeah, I hosted very many groups during the 2 weeks, not just 1 week.
2 weeks, wow. Yeah, and I agree with that. It's also like sharing your perspective, your values, and how you see the world through art. And I think that's a very meaningful way to build relationships. I also wanted to ask about your collection. So you mentioned that you don't really set a limit and on where they come from. So does it have to do with a bit about your educational background, because you were educated in the States?
I think so, yeah, because I spent a lot of time. I went high school, college, and grad school in the States. So for me, it was nothing weird to start with international artists. And I moved back to Korea in 2019, and since then I started collecting the local artists too, and get to know about the local art scene. But before that, I was in New York, and for me, it was much more easier to know about international artists because New York and the States and Europe too, a lot of galleries and institutions that we see, and I would say that definitely influenced me a lot in the way of collecting art and enjoying art.
Amazing. Now we want to talk about the key issues that we want to discuss today. That's the future of the art market in Asia. So I mean, looking at like the past year so far, 2023 has been a very busy year for Asia, because at the beginning you have a new fair that was launched, Art SG. So it started from that in January, and then all the way, and then you have all these different fairs. Art Basel Hong Kong came back, and then there's the new fair, Tokyo Gandai, and then Free Seoul, which felt much bigger this year, comparatively speaking, than compared to last year's launch. And then it felt like non-stop, and also Art Taipei is happening also at the moment right now. So it feels like there's a lot going on. But then if we look at the sales, like the business, they don't seem to be as they don't seem to be as good as previously, and because previously we've seen a lot of reports and reports that I have written myself that wow, these young Asian collectors, they have been buying so much internationally, but then this seems to be quite different this year. And of course, if we look at the auctions in Hong Kong beginning of October, and we felt that wow, it felt like times really have changed. So I wonder what you two feel about the market in Asia at this moment.
I feel like the market is definitely, it's slowed down, but to me, back in 2020, 21, 22, that market was quite unusual, and it was just too much for me, and everyone just went out to buy art, and yeah, I think that was not normal. And to me, I feel like market slowed down a lot, but this is quite a normal phase to me. Of course, it's not great, but I'm not just saying it's not horrible. Things still sell, and people still buy arts, and I really believe that it's a good timing for collectors to collect something really nice works that you when the market was hot, you can't really, you had so many competitors back in the days, but nowadays it's made everything easier to collect art.
So like now is a good time for like real collectors.
I think so.
Do you agree, Gladys?
Yes, true. I think I recall the first market down in my career is the year 2018-19 Lehman crisis. And then, so I think before that, 3 years before, that is a blooming, very crazy thing in Asia. Yeah, we're talking about contemporary art market. So I think starting from the mainland China, everybody know that, and spread into Japan, Korea, Taiwan, and even the Southeast Asia, and also India contemporary art. So they are so crazy. And then so we have a Lehman crisis in year 2018. So suddenly just everything just going down. So I think our market, just like every market, you know, they have a upside or downside. So I took that as very neutral thing. But right now we are still facing a new normal. And the crazy buying thing that's bumped to every industry after COVID, because everyone want to buy the thing or want to change their lifestyle. Yeah, so I think that is it's kind of new normal thing. But right now we have war, and also the economy market, in general is not very clear, and then inflation, you know, everything. So I think that is normal that the market slow down, and also is a very good time to buy, because I recall that during the Lehman crisis, I bought a very good Nara, for my collector. That's something like a $200,000 only, very good. 200,000, and you can choose, you know. You can, I think I choose maybe 2 Nara, and then there's one Nara I bought something like $200,000 for my client. And also the gallery is very happy, my client is very happy. And then unfortunately he saw that after 4 or 5 years in Christie evening sale for something like $1.2. Yeah. So
million, right?
Yeah, million. Yeah, $1.4 million. So of course, I think that is for a real collector, good collector. I think it's a very good time to see, and also you have a lot of option, to build up your own collection.
But we still need to be cautious, because
we need to be very cautious, because right now the problem, not a problem. Right now the fact is, in year 2018 or something even before, we don't have so many supply. So right now there are so many supply, and then there are so many arts there. So so I do recommend. So that is the value of the art advisor. We can tell you what is the good thing and what is maybe is very risky for you to do it. That is our value there. And also for the collector, you need to be, do a really careful research. And also reading is also very important if you want to collecting arts. Not only the information, because right now the only one problem is too many information. Too many information is not information. Too many art is not really art. I think that is the thing I feel. Am I too honest?
I love your honesty. I think we all love your honesty. But,
Okay.
Yes, I think that's. I guess we're now in a phase of adjustment. So the good ones will stay, and then good for collectors who are looking for. Serious collectors who are looking for like really good art to for their collection. Another thing about when people say Asia's art market, it often overlooks the nuances of each different region, because if we talk about, Asia is such a vast region, and if we talk about even like Korea and Taiwan, Hong Kong, Shanghai, Singapore, and Jakarta, I'm just to name a few. All these places, they are all so different. So I think you two come from different regions in Asia. So how do you feel about this? How can we address these nuances, especially for an international audience who are fresh to Asia? Is it difficult?
So,
like, how do we tell them, okay, each part of Asia is different? And it should be Asia art markets. It should be a plural.
It's really hard to say the whole Asia is one thing, because obviously we're all from different culture, different country, and the government is different, and the tax issue is different, the culture is different, and the art scene is different. Everything is different. So, and depending on which country you go in Asia, and it's not even the whole Asia. I mean, China itself is just so big. They're like huge country, and it's hard to say that Asian collectors like a certain artist, and it depending on which. We have to say, like, we have to separate them into different categories.
Okay, yeah, I think that is exciting things in Asia, because actually, there are so many happen. Because I'm from the East Asia, and then Jay is from different regions, so from Korea, and then Korea and Japan, they are very different. Yeah, even they are neighbor, and so I think that would be okay for the international newcomers who want to know about Asia. I think that first of all, you need to see what kind of context you're interested, and then you dig into the culture things first. And then I remember when I was working for the Indian gallery, for India, even India is very big, right? And then they have 25 official languages, and yes, they do have 25 official languages. So the thing is, like, when I'm working with the artists from the North India and also South, they are very different. They are very different, okay? So the thing is, like, because, art collecting is more like a visual and also the personal experience, because sometimes even you didn't go to Nepal, maybe, but you see Nepal, you feel so touched. Maybe your last life, you're in Nepal, There's nothing that we can give you something. I think that's a cultural context or something, whatever part you want to dive into. So I think that you can start from that part, and then to see, okay, if you like the modern or something in contemporary, Yeah, so yeah, that is very excitement to become an Asian people, because we have so many things we can try.
I think that's the intention of the Asia Pivot. That was why our team at ArtNet, that's why we wanted to introduce this. It's not just a newsletter that that's being sent out to subscribers bi-weekly. I see it in the long run that this should be a platform to generate new ideas, to bring people together, and to have useful and informative, to create a discourse about what's happening in Asia and also Asia in the rest of the world. That is the diaspora. So we have done some stories previously on ArtNet's website and ArtNet News. So we identify some galleries in the West, and we see more of them. They are interested in representing artists from Asia or Asian artists who are based outside of Asia, like in London, New York, and we see more and more of them, or in Europe. And I know that Jay, you also have one of these artists in your collection. So how do you guys see this? Can this become something new? Can this become a new trend? And what do you think about art by artists from the diaspora?
I think it's normal because Asia is big and Asian art scene it's growing, and I see a lot of collectors from Asia, and I see more and more of them. And but at the same time, we do have some artists from Asia or with Asian diaspora, but still, compared to the number of collectors or the amount they collect each year, it's not there yet. So I see a lot of movements and supports from people, especially in Asia. They try to support more of artists from the local, and I am also part of the Gold Art Prize. It's a biannual art prize that award 5 artists, and the concept of the award is to support Asian artists or so not just that, but I see a lot of movements from collectors and even foundations and institutions trying to support more of Asian artists. And I think it will continue to do so.
Actually, I start from, the initiative of my project doing is more like the bridge, something like a cultural exchange. So what I did before, I think it's since year 2010, I brought Taiwanese artists to do the show in India. So that's what I'm doing. So right now I'm still doing the same thing. I brought the artists from Asia to New York. And also I brought some kind of a young artists from West to Asia. So that is most of my projects are doing. So I'm not like in a general art consultant they are doing, because I more like to doing job and the working thing with artists together. Yeah. So I think that because I already keep doing this for over 10 years. So I found there are lots of very interesting, conversation between that. And I think for the younger generation, because right now we are not only in Asia, because we are the global citizen. Yeah. So the thing is, like, I would like to see the younger generation, because before maybe they are talking more about the cultural background, but right now we see the thing different. Maybe we have some mentality from where you're from. Yeah. So I believe that there were lots of things will be happening between this kind of exchange.
Yeah, I see that. I hope and I see that something more interesting will emerge in the near future, and so we can take a couple of questions before we close our panel. Okay, we have one question. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you guys so much for the talk. It was really good. You both have strong ties in New York, and I was just wondering, is there a difference between the younger clientele in Taiwan or in Seoul and who you work with in New York, like as the market is changing?
I think New York is, it's the most international, because it's a melting pot, everybody there. Yeah, so you meet different people from different, also there are lots of Asian in New York. So the thing is like, so actually what they are doing in New York, that is a very different kind of things, because actually they are more like want to exploring something very exciting, Yeah, because you live in New York and you don't want to get bored. And I'm having my client, I have a lot of clients. Most of our clients come from Taiwan, and very few from the mainland China. And then also, they also would like to go to New York to learn something. That is Taiwanese. It's a very tiny island and a very small population, but the people they like to learn new things. And then the Korea, and I think Jay is much more than I do. Yes. So yeah, I don't know if I answer your question. Okay.
And I feel like, so the history of art in Asia is very long, but history of collecting art or contemporary art is relatively shorter compared to the histories in Europe and North America. And because of that, I see collectors in Europe or the States, they have a stronger taste. They just collect what they want. But, and I see a lot of collectors in Korea too, in Asia too, but still some of them, I still see some of them just follow someone else's taste because they're not so sure about their own taste. And I totally understand why, but they need to take some time to see art, and they need to have some more experience to have a stronger taste, and that will definitely, I think, grow the whole market.
Yeah, I would like to thank the three of you for the very insightful panel that you did. Continues the previous question. I would like to know for you, Gladys, as an advisor, and you, Jay, as a collector, what kind of advices you will address to people who are about to build or would like to start to collect, the newcomers?
I think you should. I need to go back to the very cliche things that I think you need to go to see more museum show. I think that is a very important, yeah. And then be patient, and then also look at the art from your eyes, not from your phone. Yeah, because people go there, they just want to take a picture and do the selfie, those kind of things. Actually, you don't have any connection to what you are seeing, okay? And then, so I think that you need to keep yourself a very lonely moment with art, and you will see what type of art are telling you. You will have connection, So it's not every art could connect your soul, But as long as that you just be in a very, very good kind of situation, not the party mode. In a party mode, you see the thing is different. Yeah, but we are talking about the long run. So I think the museum show is definitely, and then right now we are in Paris, and Paris is so much more beautiful show, amazing one happening now. So I think that is a very good start. Another thing is reading is very important because the concept is always important. When you see more and when you really want to buy the first piece of your art, you will see, okay, if this concept is unique or someone already did that again. Yeah, so I think you just take your path slow to see, not rush. Yeah, not rush to buy, because right now I think we have plenty time. Yeah.
Yeah, continuing that, I agree that people have to go see good arts, not just anything. I mean, of course, all arts are important, but again, I recommend museum exhibitions, and some gallery exhibitions are nice too, but we see tons of galleries opening every day. So, and some galleries, yeah, so we need to see some good arts. And also, if the person wants to collect an artist, then the person needs to know about the artist and the materials and the techniques and the concept of the work. Why the artist's intentions, and also, so when I look at an artworks, the first thing I care about is the uniqueness of the artist, not just their technique. I mean, as time goes, technique definitely develops, but the uniqueness, it's hard to have their own uniqueness. So for me, especially I collect a lot of young artists, I see a lot of them still not perfect with their techniques, but I still collect them when I see the work and don't think about someone else. Then I think that's really good. And also, for me, pretty doesn't mean that it's good art, and ugly doesn't mean that it's bad art. And I have a lot of awkward, ugly arts, but I love them. And for some artists, so for one artist that I have in my collection, it took me a while. It took me almost 2 years to get it. And after that, I started getting curious about the artist and why he did this and just why. And I start want to collect the work, and I love the work. So it's very important to know what you like and about the artist. Yeah.
It's working. Okay. Good evening, and thank you very much for your very insightful and recent talk. I'm an educator of East Asian art, and I've been doing this for quite some time. And I see, for me, art market and the idea of art as business is a different side. I'm an academic. So my question is about building this relationship or making a bridge between academia and art market, because as you mentioned, that knowledge is one of the most important components of building a collection or making a decision. And I just want to know, in this current art market situation, is this connection is it getting stronger, or some kind of in a way, do you feel that there's potential to make this kind of bridge between art market and academia, so that both sides are taking advantage of each other?
I think it's really important because in the past I see academic side and the market side was completely separated back in the days, lot of the times. But and I know that some institutions don't want to be somehow involved in the market, and I understand why. But I still feel like it should be somehow connected, not like the same, but should be connected to each other, and then try to educate people to tell them that art is not something so hard, it's not so difficult to understand. And if the market and academic side, it's totally separated, then it would be even harder for people to understand art more, people in general, not just collectors. So, and I think it is happening, because I should be careful with this, but yeah, but yeah.
Okay. I think it's a kind of debate all the time, right? Because between the academic and also the gallery, and also we can see there are lots of debating or something like a happening if the commercial part want to sponsor academic to do the show in a museum. And the people say, whoa, that's sponsored by the commercial. But the thing is like, okay, commercial is that harmful? That's the question, because actually the artist also needs support, right? So the thing is like we need to back to the honest. We need to back to the reality, because before a long time ago we say, okay, academic is academic and the commercial is commercial. They are no longer to be together in the same platform. But what I'm seeing in New York at the moment, I think they are trying to collaborate in the subtle way. Okay, that is good. That is good, because I think that's because when we go to the museum, if we can see the show, because I'm not from the art history background, so sometimes for me it's very difficult to understand the text. If you go to the museum, you don't understand what is that, right? Sometimes you say, oh, that's so difficult. But right now in New York, there are lots of museums. They're trying to do in a very down-to-earth language to educate the people. And then I think for the arts, it's no harm to let more people to get to know the artists, right? I saw the Rouge show in New York. They're doing a very fantastic things. And even though they have the Picasso show, just happened last week in MoMA. They're doing a very good introduction. Yeah, so I personally do glad to see there are lots of things could be influence or be not collaborate. I think maybe certainly supported from the commercial parts that more artists could be seen in the good way. Yeah, not in the, in the lonely island, Yeah, it's going nowhere. Okay, that's my thought.
Thank you very much, Gladys and Jay, for joining us today. And on that note, I think we are all in the same ecosystem, and we all have different roles to play. And at the end of the day, we just want to bring good art to people. So thank you very much, and thank you so much, Asia Now, for having us. And please follow ArtNet, follow us on Instagram, and if you can, subscribe to ArtNet Pro. And the Asia Pivot, yes, so please check it out. Thank you so much again, and hopefully we'll see you guys again soon. Thank you so much. Merci beaucoup.